Before I dive into today's story, let me tell you something wild. There's a cursed chair out there in this world that nobody dares to sit on. Nobody's got the guts, because everyone who's ever sat in it, well, they're gone forever. This story takes us to a small town called Thirsk in North York, England. In a museum there, they've got this beautiful chair on display. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary chair, nothing extraordinary, nothing weird. You'd probably want to sit in it. But here's the kicker. Most chairs sit on the floor so we can use them, right? Not this one. In that Thirsk museum, this chair is hung high up on the wall so no one can accidentally sit on it. There's even a metal plate with a strict warning, do not touch. So why is this chair such a big deal? Why is it hung up like that? And why is no one brave enough to take a seat? According to the museum, this chair is cursed. Anyone who sat in it hasn't made it out alive. Some mysterious force takes them out. Over 30 people have died because of this creepy, cursed chair. If they hadn't hung it up, who knows what else it could have done. So what's the deal with this chair? And why does it seem to hate anyone sitting on it? Listen to this story, but honestly, you might want to forget it afterward. It all started back in 1702 in England, in that little town of Thirsk, North York. Two buddies lived there, Thomas Busby and Daniel Odie. Both were total drunks, spending their days wasted and their nights pulling off thefts and heists. They were also into forging fake coins. Thomas was younger, about the age of Daniel's son, but they were tight, running with their crew, causing chaos all day and chilling at a local pub every night with beers in hand. That was their routine, and everything was going great. Health, business, all of it. Then one day, Daniel found out his daughter was having an affair with his buddy Thomas. He was furious, but eventually he cooled off and gave his blessing since they were cut from the same cloth. Thomas was around his daughter's age, so he said, "Fine, let's do this." Wedding invites went out, but what was coming next? Nobody was ready for the chilling, mysterious events about to unfold. If you've got a weak heart, you might want to skip this part. But if you're still in, brace yourself for some shocking twists. Let's talk about the wedding first. Daniel was loaded, so he spared no expense for his daughter and Thomas's big day. Unlike some weddings that blow budgets, kinda like how Indian weddings can shake up your bank account. Daniel's cash flow was solid, but life throws curveballs, doesn't it? One day it's a grand wedding, the next it's a home renovation or a sudden medical emergency, and you're like, what now? Don't stress. Bajaj FinServ. Personal loans got your back. It's a game changer. Approval in 5 minutes, cash in your account in 24 hours. Plus, they've got flexible loan options. Withdraw when you need, prepay when you've got extra cash, and only pay EMI on what you use. Wedding, travel, home upgrades, sorted. Up to 55 lakh, no hidden charges, no collateral, no guarantor. It's 100% online, whether you're running a business or salaried, working public, private, or MNC. Just need a CIBIL score of 685 plus, age 21 plus, and complete KYC. Need funds now? Don't wait. Apply for Bajaj FinServ personal loan. Links in the description. Disclaimer. Loan approval depends on eligibility. Some KYC required. Terms and conditions apply. Back to the story. Daniel splashed cash on his daughter's wedding, and even after making Thomas his son-in-law, their shady business kept booming. But Thomas and Daniel never stopped hitting up that pub. There was another reason they kept going back, a chair Thomas was obsessed with. Every time he went, he'd sit in that same chair. He was a thug, and if anyone dared sit in his favorite spot, he'd forcibly take it back. Thomas was so fixated on that chair that it started causing daily drama. He was a drunk, a thug, and a bit unhinged. The bar owner got so scared of fights breaking out that he'd make sure Thomas's chair was empty before he even walked in. That mysterious chair had Thomas under its spell, and it was about to get worse, way worse than he or Daniel could have imagined. Thomas would talk to the chair, compliment it, saying stuff like, "You're mine, only I get to sit on you." Months passed, then years. and he'd always sit in that chair at the pub, chatting with it, drinking. If someone was already in it, that was their last day at the bar. Some even say Thomas would hammer nails into the backside of anyone who sat there. The chair caused all kinds of trouble. Then came 1702. Things got rocky between Thomas and Daniel's daughter, Elizabeth. Fights started breaking out. When Daniel heard about it, he told Thomas, "Shape up, or I'm taking my daughter back home." This led to major clashes between the son-in-law and father-in-law. Weeks of arguing went on, but being drunks, they'd still meet up at the pub every evening, drink, fight, and go home. One night, their fight got so bad that people had to step in. Thomas said something to Daniel that sent him over the edge. Daniel took it personally and swore revenge. That day was coming soon. One evening, Thomas walked into the pub and saw Daniel sitting in his favorite chair, puffing away. Thomas lost it. He yelled at the bar owner, "How dare Daniel sit in my chair? Tell him to get up!" But Daniel wasn't budging. He told the owner, "Let him try whatever he wants." Daniel knew it was Thomas's chair and sat there to mess with him. Thomas stormed over, cussing Daniel out, telling him to move. Daniel stood up on the chair and started dirtying it with his boots. After a heated argument, Daniel spat on the chair and kicked it over. That was a huge mistake. His last one. Things got physical. Thomas was so enraged that he grabbed a hammer and smashed it into Daniel's head, splitting his skull in two. Daniel dropped dead on the spot. After brutally killing his friend, Thomas sat in his chair, calmly sipping his drink. Terrified customers who witnessed it fled. When the police arrived, they found Thomas with his foot on Daniel's chest, sitting in his chair, drinking. They arrested him, and in 1703, the court found Thomas guilty of Daniel's murder, sentencing him to death by hanging in the town square as an example. The execution date was set. Thomas tried everything to stop it, but nothing worked. In jail, counting down his days, he was asked for his final wish, as was customary for death row inmates. Thomas asked, "Whatever I say, can you really make it happen?" The jailer said, "Just tell me." What Thomas said next shocked everyone. "My only wish is to go back to that pub and sit in my chair for one last drink." In Western culture, drinking's no big deal, so the officers approved his request. They handcuffed him, took him to the pub under police custody, and let him sit in his favorite chair. He took his drink, talked to the chair, praised it, then suddenly stood up, ready to leave. But before he left, he gave the bar owner a chilling warning. "If anyone dares sit in this chair after I'm gone, they won't make it." Then he was gone. The next day, Thomas was hanged in the town square. As time passed, people forgot his warning. The bar was sold, and the new owner renamed it Busby's Stoop Inn after Thomas. He turned the chair into a showpiece, banning anyone from sitting in it because of its dark history. The chair's creepy stories became a draw, luring customers to hear how a son-in-law killed his father-in-law over it. Nobody dared sit in it. Everyone was spooked. Fast forward 193 years to 1894. A chimney sweep became the first victim. He cleaned the bar, had a few drinks, and accidentally sat in Thomas's chair. It was morning, just staff around. When they saw him in the chair, they rushed over, yelling, "That's a cursed chair! No one's allowed to sit there!" The chimney sweep laughed, mocked them, and left. The next day, his body was found hanging from a pole. When people heard he'd sat in the chair, panic spread. Thomas's curse was real, and everyone was terrified. The bar owner thought it might have been a coincidence. Maybe the guy had enemies. But then, more incidents followed. During World War II, some soldiers heard the chair's story and dared each other to sit in it. They did, and never returned from the war. Around 1960, 2 Royal Air Force pilots unknowingly sat in the chair. Hours later, their car crashed into a tree, killing them both. The pattern continued. Anyone who sat in the chair died. A cleaning lady got a brain tumor. A roofer fell to his death. A mason was crushed by a collapsing wall. all because they sat in that chair. The bar owner was freaking out. Every death was linked to the chair. He contacted the old owner, who warned, "Yeah, that chair's dangerous. Keep people away, just use the stories to draw customers." But the owner couldn't stop people from accidentally sitting in it. Frustrated, he told his staff, "Get this chair out of here and lock it in the basement. No one goes down there." The chair was moved, the deaths stopped, and the owner was relieved. But in 1978, a delivery man came to drop off packages. With the bar packed and staff busy, he had to haul heavy stuff to the basement alone. Exhausted, he sat on Thomas's chair without knowing. The next day, he died in a truck accident. When the bar staff realized he'd been in the basement, they knew he must have sat in the chair. The owner was convinced this was a cursed chair. He wanted it gone. The next day, he called the Thirst Museum, voice shaking, saying, "I've got a chair to donate." They asked, "What's so special about it?" He replied, "It's cursed." He brought the chair to the museum, told them its whole terrifying story, and said, "I'll donate it, but on one condition. Don't let it touch the ground, and make sure no one sits in it. I don't want this curse taking more lives." The museum agreed. Signed the paperwork, and hung the chair 5 feet off the ground in front of the owner. Since 1978, when it was placed in the museum, it hasn't claimed another life, because no one sat in it, and no one's dared to. Today, that chair's still in the Thirst Museum, safe and sound. If you're ever there, you can see it for yourself. Everyone who sat in it paid with their life. Now, whether those deaths were really the chair's curse or just a twisted way to draw customers with a spooky story, I'll let you decide. There's a reason I say that. A historian named Dr. Adam Bowett pointed out something odd. The chair's spindles were machine-turned, which wasn't a thing in the 17th century when chairs were handcrafted. He concluded the chair was likely made after 1840, at least 138 years after Thomas's death. So, was the whole story fake? Or maybe someone tampered with the chair later to make it more intriguing? Anything's possible. Oh, and that bar? It's still there, but it's got a new name now, the Jaipur Spice. Guess what country the owner might be from? The name sounds familiar, doesn't it? What do you think? And hey, if you need cash fast, check out Bajaj FinServ Personal Loan. Links in the description. Terms and conditions apply.